Hello friends. I've begun to obsessively peer inside clothes. I don't mean that in a creepy way, but as part of my research into dresses, suits, underwear and other garments in museum collections, including the remarkable collection housed here at the Rare Trade Centre. I'm interested in what surviving clothing can tell us about Australian lives and experiences. And some of you may have heard me speak before, particularly about this woman, Eliza Perrin, seen here with her children wearing the dress from my first slide. In looking inside clothes for signs of wear, use, rewear and reuse, I'm hunting for clues from the past into what I'm calling a historical culture of clothing circularity. Today we use circularity to refer to extending the life cycle of clothes and eliminating discard wherever possible. People in the past did this too, though they called it something else. They used innovative, creative practices to extend the life of clothing, not just over a few short years for a single wearer, but across decades and through generations. With a close eye, it's possible to trace these practices. I'll use a collection of the National Trust of Australia, Victoria, to show you some of these practices. With the Trust's senior curator, Liziana Petrivna, and fashion photographer, Tracy Lee Hayes, we've documented many examples. You'll see a handful tonight. But before you do, you might be asking, why am I pursuing this so obsessively? Well, where Australians once wore their clothes over many years, we now have a problem with fashion. In 2024, Australians purchased 1.51 billion items of new clothes, the equivalent of 55 items for every person. That same year, we sent 220,000 tonnes of unwanted clothing to Australian landfills, and another 9,000 tonnes of our cast-offs were shipped overseas to mounting global landfills. I see museums as being uniquely placed to explore clothing circularity as part of their commitment to fostering a sustainable world. So with that in mind, I'd like to connect clothing collections to present-day conversations around sustainable fashion practices, resourcefulness and care. We all get sick of our clothes and want something new, so take a look at this gown for inspiration. The bodice features panels that sit wide at the shoulders, then narrow in at the waist. Rows of velvet ribbons and fringing create striking lines. But a closer examination reveals something curious. These ribbons are two different shades, a rich chocolate beside a lighter chestnut. They were added at different times. A rough tacking stitch attaches them. This is an example of a really simple technique for refashioning. Attaching new trims, braids or buttons could produce a myriad of effects. Retrimming changed the lines of a garment or added new colour and texture. Retrimming could also update a gown's appearance, rebalance the silhouette or draw the eye from one feature to another. Or check out this example, dated to the 1840s, though it was probably worn earlier. The three sections of mending down the front of the skirt of this gown first caught our attention. With the skilled stitching and the patterned cloth working as a camouflage, we had to look closely to see the repairs at all. With this dress, we began to recognise a pattern. A gown rarely had a single repair or alteration. The blue gown's very full sleeves at the shoulder taper to an extremely narrow wrist. So narrow are the cuffs that both were unpicked, as you can see, and opened along the inside seam to help the hand ease through. And the dress has also been resized twice following its initial construction, suggesting that somebody both bigger and smaller than the original wearer subsequently wore it. The second was presumably taller or wanted a skirt to fashionably graze the ground, as the hem has also been dropped. And for the fashion conscious, sleeves and skirts mattered. The transforming silhouettes across the mid-19th century decades visibly signalled a gown as up to date or as out of fashion. Sleeves and skirts were a style barometer, like those on this gorgeous black silk dress from the 1860s. To keep it cool, the sleeves of this dress were removed, recut and re-sewn into the bodice. The evidence of this is stark, as a different lining fabric has been used for the sleeves that now fall straight from the shoulder to elbow before they flare. And the skirt of this pale blue silk gown has been unpicked and re-sewn, with a waistband added. The shape indicates an 1860s date. The pleats that fall from the waistband are unevenly set. Not only are they off-centre, but the pleats are also uneven in width. But it hardly matters that they're not perfect. Protecting the parts of the gown that were quickest to stain further helped to extend their wearable life. A number of gowns we examined were badly stained at the underarms from perspiration, including this dress with its eye-catching wide sleeves trimmed with bows, braids and frills. And if you look closely here, you'll see that matching cloth has been carefully sewn into the underarms to disguise the stubborn sweat marks. Later gowns used underarm shields inside to act as a barrier to protect the cloth from a damp underarm. At the heart of these examples that I've shown you, and plenty others still, including these ones, is a recognition that clothing was not something that had a single life. Rather, it had the potential to transform. And such transformations, I'd like to suggest, might have a critical role to play in fashion's present and its future. Thank you.